Welcome to the Patriots Raw. We are real American women.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And it's Tune In Tuesday, and we're live streaming from the America First Warehouse in Ronkonkoma, New York, the most patriotic venue
In all
the
the land. Yes, right on cue, ladies.
We
That's
did it.
awesome.
We did it. We are joined today by our special co-host, once again, Julie Ferring
Thank
from
you for having
Soundview.
me, Julie.
Soundview Pregnancy Services, and along with her is her co-worker, Monet Noriega.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome
Thank
to
you
the
for
show
joining
with
us.
us. Yes, thank you. We're continuing to highlight the Sanctity of Life Month, and also we are in the middle of the National Human Trafficking Prevention Month.
Right.
So, and we know that Monet is also familiar with signs of trafficking with the work that you do at Soundview. So we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
So, Julie, we're going to let you take it away.
Thank you.
And let's
Your esteemed colleague.
deep dive. Yeah.
Yes, so Monet is my coworker at Soundview Pregnancy Services. We're located here in New York, which sadly is almost the abortion capital of our nation, sadly. So we're in a very hostile climate, but we're making a huge impact for life, and it's a blessing to be here. So let me share a little bit about Monet. She's a registered nurse with 23 years of experience in the pregnancy, psychiatric, and community health fields. She's currently a nurse sonographer with Clearview Medical at Soundview Pregnancy Center, where she supports women facing unplanned pregnancies and helps to identify those vulnerable to human trafficking and abuse.
Wow.
So thank you for
Thank
being
you.
with us
Yeah.
for the first time. We're so excited to have you here. So Monet, please share with us how your nursing career led you to Soundview.
Sure. So, for the sake of time, I'll make it really brief. Basically, I really want to walk in truth. You know, we go through so much of our lives, many of us being deceived and believing things that aren't true and hearing maybe cultural narratives that we just kind of latch onto.
Yep.
And when I came to faith as a Christian, I began to realize that a lot of the things that I had previously believed first, they didn't make sense. They really didn't. And I wanted to really strive to walk in the truth as God has designed it.
Amen.
So through a series of events, I ended up working with Soundview, and there I get to help others walk and heal in the truth, so seeing the truth. So through my work at Soundview, I'm able to also share real truth. I know I keep repeating that word, but that's what it is. I
we
get
love
to
the most.
share
It is.
the
Yes.
truth with women and men and walk alongside them as they grow.
Yeah, there's so many misconceptions.
And while the
Yeah.
ladies are talking, I just would like the control room to bring up the Soundview graphic, please, just so the audience can see. And if you want to even leave that down on the side while we're going through this, is so the audience can share the QR code and screenshot that and learn more about it. Soundview.
So what do you do there? Tell us about your job there.
Okay, great. So I'm a nurse. So at Soundview, we have a holistic purview of services. So for me, I work in Clearview Medical, which is at Soundview with the medical team. And so as a registered nurse, I do ultrasounds, which is, the big thing. That's the first thing that people think of when they think of pregnancy centers. The ultrasounds are what show women and men the life on the screen.
Yep.
Because so many people think that this is just a clump of cells. And
Right.
that is real. It's not just something you hear. I have spoken to people who are like, I didn't know there was a heartbeat, or I thought it was just a clump of cells. And then they see an ultrasound and they're just amazed because this looks like a baby, because it is a baby. So I get to actively participate in that, which is super cool. It's a lot of fun. But in addition to that, I'm assessing and evaluating these. Most generally we'll see women, but we see women and men. But I'm assessing and evaluating for issues that could maybe they need medical intervention for that's more emergent. Let's say they have a pregnancy, but it's not in the uterus, like an
Okay.
ectopic pregnancy. I might evaluate for that and then refer them to the proper resources. But additionally, I'm looking more holistically at things like domestic violence, human trafficking, like we're discussing today. All of my assessment includes that as a registered nurse with Clearview at Soundview.
What a blessing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's great.
sure.
So we have, at Soundview, we've updated our men's protocol. So if you could share, what are some of the men's concerns and how do we refer for, coaching for men at Soundview?
Yeah. So I'm really excited that you brought that up because a lot of people don't really think of men when they think of this issue. And just to kind of plug in, I'm here because it's Sanctity of Life Month, right?
Yes,
and that's
it is.
all life, including men.
Right.
Right?
Yep, yep.
Right?
All
So
lives matter.
their feelings,
Yes.
opinions, and hopes and dreams and all that stuff counts too. And I think a lot of people have a misconception that it's really a woman's issue, abortion, pregnancy, etc. But men have feelings about this too. And I've seen men in ultrasounds who really struggle when a woman wants to have an abortion, but that man sees on the screen his child. He has fathered a child and he can see that, and there's feelings that are going on inside of him too. So Soundview provides services where we can refer men to speak with other men in like mentorship to try to coach and assist them. But we also provide them with the same services that we do the women with our social work team. So I work in the medical department, but there is a social work team at Soundview as well, where we provide counseling and coaching and then can also refer out if necessary and they need additional resources. So
You're treating everybody.
treating everybody.
Everyone.
We're really trying to look at the whole family.
Right, right.
And everybody involved. Does that
beautiful.
answer your question, Julie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I do too.
So you were chatting about the sonogram and how powerful
Yeah.
and what a great visual it is. How has the sonogram affected a client's decision when she comes to Soundview? Because we get abortion determined, minded, and then vulnerable. We have different levels of these women. And how do you think that might affect the abortion rate, even in our own center, as far as the percentages for life?
Yeah, great question. So before I answer it, I want to clarify a little bit about what you said because not everybody is familiar with those terms where you have abortion minded, abortion determined, and abortion vulnerable. Somebody who's abortion vulnerable, which is really everybody in New York, every woman in New York State is vulnerable because she has access to abortion up to 24 weeks. So that makes them vulnerable because you could want to have a baby and then 2 months from now your circumstances change and you change your mind and you're still in a space where you can abort that child.
And it's up to
legal.
24 weeks.
It's actually, you can have an abortion through 9 months
Oh, my
in New York
Lord.
State.
Up to birth.
Up to birth, yeah. But 24 weeks is typically what you see as like advertised, but you
Right.
can have third trimester abortion in New York State. So in states where you have that, you have a vulnerability at any time because as I was saying, you could have a woman who is really excited and then maybe she breaks up with her partner and all of a sudden feels like she can't do it. She's still vulnerable because she has access to those abortion
Right,
services if she's going through something and decides to change her mind. And that ability to go through with that and follow through with it plays on that feeling of I can't do this. And then they make a
Of course,
decision.
the enemy's waiting right there to tell you that.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
right.
opportune time, right? It's the opportune time. So
It makes me infuriated, actually, too.
well,
9 months.
thankfully, that's one of, and I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but at Soundview, we really work to try and connect people with resources so that they never feel like they're alone, no
Right.
matter where they're at in their stage of pregnancy. So that's another topic, but it's, we want to walk with them even after the baby is born. And that's a big deal. So, but to get back to your question, we have the abortion vulnerable, then you have the abortion minded, which are people who are like, kind of thinking about abortion and they think that's probably what they're going to do, but they're undecided and not sure, right? They're really weighing their options. Then you have what Julie mentioned as a woman who is abortion determined. That's a woman who you really try to discuss things with her and she's just like, I already know what I'm going to do. I'm determined to have an abortion. That being said, God is so good. And I myself have seen women who come in abortion determined, leaving where they've decided to parent.
Praise God.
Beautiful.
That does
Yes.
happen. It does
Yes.
happen. There is hope.
Yes.
So don't let those words scare you.
love that.
But in terms of the ultrasound, At Soundview, our statistics are about 50% of women who see ultrasounds on the screen then choose life. So those statistics, if you're looking from state to state, center to center, those can vary, but I'm giving you what we have, what we see, what our numbers are, and we are in a state where the climate is a little more challenging for us for various reasons. But I would love, if I have the opportunity, to just share, I have seen in a room just the change in a woman's face and a man's face when they see that baby on the screen.
Love that.
Because they really do, think about it. How many people, if you're not really thinking it through, are just thinking of this as a fetus or an embryo?
Right.
And it's almost other than, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not really a person.
right.
But when you show a woman a heartbeat on the screen, and they can
Game changer.
huge game changer. And
Yeah.
I've seen, it's amazing.
It's like instant. It's gotta be instant. It's instinct.
It is.
It's instinct.
instinctive.
Yeah.
It's a maternal instinct.
Yeah.
And the physical expression on her face often will change. I have seen the actual, this is anecdotal, but I myself have seen actual evidence of the change, the shift that occurs in a
Beautiful.
person when they see
Wow.
this on a screen. So those are our numbers. It's about half, and that's the impact that ultrasound has.
Wow, that's
And
just incredible.
the pin that we talked about last week, Julie is wearing it, I'm wearing it, and I don't know, it's so teeny tiny, and this is what's so amazing
very
about this.
tiny.
These little baby feet, the precious feet, are supposed to depict the exact size of approximately of a 10-week-old baby. So just even seeing this to me is so, it's just such a strong and stark reminder. Like
It's a visual.
It's a visual,
Right.
and it's a good conversation starter when
yeah.
you talk to people.
And with that, we're going to have to cut to commercial, and then we'll be back.
we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel.
Couldn't do the abortion
But
pill
here's
last
the
week.
shocking
Maybe
truth.
it's the beginning of the next
100%
segment.
of the
Yeah.
major
went on.
travel agencies
okay.
are owned by just
But
two
you're
entities,
clarifying what I said.
Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our Patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single Justice for All with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. We'll get ready for round two. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. The America First Warehouse, where our thoughts will always be.
Welcome back to the Patriots podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Right now, we have such a special guest with us. We are so honored. We have a Can you guys hear us? Okay, just want to make sure. Sorry about that. We have a guest all the way on the border in Texas, in Mission, Texas,
Yep.
Jason Jones. He's joining us right now live from the border in Texas. He's our Patriot brother who's been here before. Jason, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Jason. Welcome.
Hi, Jason.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's good to be with you.
Thank you. One of the biggest heroes out there. What you're doing out there, Jason, as a mom,
Yeah.
I think I speak for all of us. We can't thank someone like you enough. Makes me want to cry, honestly, that you're helping us save these children and protect this border and uncovering things that I think people don't believe is real.
I know they don't believe it's real.
I appreciate that. I really do. You know, it's nice to come down to the border right now and see the numbers where they are.
I bet.
I've been out here reporting for Newsmax all day on it, almost every hour.
I thank
since
you.
early this morning. I have to tell you, to come down here a year later after President Trump has been put in office and to see it firsthand, it's night and day. It's just night and day difference.
Thank God.
Right? The 1-year anniversary of the inauguration today.
Yeah.
And the work that's been done is incredible. And I feel
Yep.
much better knowing that our border is safe. So I'm going to let Angie give a very quick introduction just so the audience knows. If they don't know who you are, they need to know who you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. So like we were saying, we're welcomed by Jason Jones, and Jason is a retired captain from the Texas Department of Public Safety's Intelligence and Counterterrorism Division. That's a mouthful.
Sure is.
He's managed the daily operations of the Texas Rangers Border Security Operations Center. He supervised human intelligence in several nations and managed intelligence lead operations for the most extended 24/7 border operation in Texas history, Operation Secure Texas. He's led investigations targeting the Mexican cartel's leaderships and built programs that help save lives in Mexico and throughout the United States. Jason's also an expert on organized crime and violent global networks and speaks now about real-life stories on human trafficking, human smuggling, and drug trafficking that affect all Americans. And you're always on Newsmax all the time too. So we love that.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you guys, you know, I was so pissed off about what was happening down here and sending incredible agents to the border and dealing with these cartels and what wasn't getting out. It went public to really get the cartels designated as foreign terrorist organizations. We started that initiative in 2016, and thanks to President Trump, we finally got it done. And somehow got into journalism. So how you go from being a cop to doing this, I don't quite know how that worked out.
The same way you go from being a bookkeeper to a podcast host.
Come down here and illuminate these problems to the American public and tell them what the media for decades and what our government should have been telling them.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. So I think, I don't know, because they have us in the boxes now. We have, Jason was so awesome, sent us many videos and pictures, you know, of his experiences, things he's uncovered, boots on the ground. I don't know if the guys can play that at the same time. I was hoping that could be playing behind us, but I'm not sure if they can do that now. All right. So you know what? We'll show some of them after we let Jason talk. But I don't know, Jason, if you want to give us, I know today you guys were kind of touching upon, you know, how much better it's gotten in the year and trying to remind people how bad it was before President Trump came into office. Or if you want to share one of the stories, and I know you're about to go on some trips to keep doing the great work you're doing. But, you know, share with us what's most prevalent.
Sure, listen, I got to tell you, the data validates, right? Let's get away from perceptions or feelings, left, right, up, or down. What does the data show? Well, in December of 2023, under the Biden-Harris administration, for 1 month alone, we were at 249,000 apprehensions.
Wow.
Under President Trump, in December of 25, the latest data we have, 6,478 at
Wow.
your southwest border. Now, that right there, guys.
Amazing.
You need to know that that is the best numbers in the history of the United States Customs and Border Protection ever, since they were started. So when I tell you that leadership matters and that good policy matters, when you marry the two, the data validates that. Look, under Biden-Harris, they had 10.5 million encounters at U.S. Customs and Border Protection at your southern border, your northern border, and your coastal borders. If you overlay the 2.2 million known gotaways, never mind the ones we have no idea about, it shows you the breadth and scope of the problem. And we tried to warn down here about the level of human smuggling, the human trafficking, and this adjustment that the cartels were making into the debt bondage of men, women, and children into our nation, and that this virus was coming.
Wow.
And that we were going to see things we had never seen before because the cartels were doing things they had never done. Because just as Border Patrol was overwhelmed, so were they. And so they really learned that people could be the gift that keeps giving. That is their statement to me from a lieutenant in the Gulf Cartel. Those are not my words. And then they sent these people throughout the country. And, you know, what we're seeing in Minnesota play out right now, we're looking at that, you know, through the I believe, the wrong lens. You know, the lens is we warned this was coming. And this is one state, one city right now. Get ready. We've got a long way to go, guys. And this problem of allowing people from 170 different countries to come into this nation and do what was allowed in a 4-year term is unprecedented. And the secondary and third impacts that we're beginning to feel is the blowback from it as we try to right these wrongs and the violence happening to our citizens and in our cities and our law enforcement officers who are overwhelmed and running from call to call to call. You know, we're trying to take this problem set back. And, you know, when you take a state like Wyoming, for an example, has 500,000 people, yet in four years, we know of hard data of 13 million that came into this country.
Wow.
Those are the ones we know of, never ones we don't. It shows you why we're seeing what we're seeing and that the damage done here, I'll tell you, I don't think I'll ever get over it, and I know I damn sure am never going to forgive the people who did this to our citizens.
Oh my God.
You and me both.
It's evil. It's just downright evil.
You know, and Jason shared, you know, the pictures that I shared with you, and this, I can't get that little girl's face out of my head.
God.
You know, having a cartel bracelet on her, and if you want to touch upon that, and I guess all the children, I can only imagine how hard it is knowing that this is really happening and seeing it in real time and how that stays with you. It's insane to me that this is continuing. They're showing the girl.
Yeah, this was a little girl, I think you said, that had just been left, right, Jason?
Yeah, she was abandoned. The backstory there, that one really got to me. That little precious little girl, we think she's probably 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
We don't know. She was crossed in Roma, Texas in, I want to say, late 22, early 23. A friend of mine who was a Border Patrol agent responded to a group. He was the guy that took the pictures of that precious little girl. If you notice, if you look at her little wrist, I don't know if you're airing the photo, she was wearing one of these cartel wristbands put out by the Gulf Cartel. What happened was, as he came around a corner, the smugglers left her in the road in the middle of the street at night in Roma, Texas, so they could get away because they knew that as a Border Patrol agent coming, he was going to stop.
Horrible.
So this agent, who's a good friend of mine, an amazing, amazing man, stopped the car, jumps out, rescues that little girl, and he took those photos. Now, the worst part of this story is not the capture. That's a rescue of that little girl, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Amen.
The hardest part is the fact that when he brought her back to the station, he was forced to release her to a woman who couldn't tell her the name of the child, or tell him the name of the child, or validate that she was a family member. But because she had a piece of paper, and this was the rule back then, because you had a piece of paper with the name of a person on it, which was a female's name, handed that over, and he was forced to release her. And in his mind today, he's no longer a Border Patrol agent. He talks all over the country about these things. This was one of many children, guys, that happened. Look, I've seen kids who have crossed with no shoes on. I've seen them cross with people they have no idea who they were with. I've seen these kids cross with other children that they just found and then were just stuck together. The youngest was 10 days old that crossed with a mother and father, and she had just had that child in a stash house on the Mexico side, and even that 10-year-old was wearing one of these wristbands. And the Gulf Cartel had what they do to these little ones is they wrap these wristbands around their little wrists. Sweetheart, hand me that other one for the children. I just want to show this to everybody. My daughter's here tonight. It's nice to have her down here on the board.
I love that. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing him with us for a little bit.
If you notice, these are not broken, right? I mean, these are all broken, if you see here. But these little ones like this, they're not broken. You know why? Because the little wrists on the children are so small, they could just slide them right off. They didn't double them up. And this one came off a child. And so what do these mean for the folks, if you've never heard of this? Each one represents a different alien smuggling organization operating under the banner of the Gulf Cartel, also known as Cartel de Golfo, cartel that controls everything from Brownsville, Texas, to Roma, Texas.
Wow.
And each one of these are different smuggling groups. So what would happen just as Border Patrol was overrun, so was the cartel. So and tell me if this may be out of frame, but you can see, they all had a little logo. They all said something about arrivals. in Tragas coming in. And then, I don't know if you can you see that number there, guys? Is
I
that
see there's
out
something there.
focus?
Yep.
Okay. That number went into a database for the Gulf Cartel. So this was a tectonic shift. And what this represented was the adjustment from the smuggling of people into the trafficking through what we call debt bondage. Now, what is the difference? Smuggling is where what we always saw in the old days. That's where the cartel would move a group in. They didn't care where they went. It was an exchange to go from A to B. And once you got to B, you were on your own, but you'd already paid your money. Under human trafficking, most of us think of sex trafficking or labor trafficking. What this represents is the final version, which is debt bondage. So what is that? That means that you don't have the money to pay just across a river about the length of my truck down here in the valley. And because they didn't have the money, they agree to make a payment for years, if not decades to come. Now think of this. So they're moved into the country. Once they know where they're going, they pick up their telephone, they call back to their family member in the home country where they come from. So now they can own those people because they know where they're going and they know where they came from, because they would literally pick up the phone and call the family. Then from there, get smuggled across the river. As soon as they got into the U.S., they would rip the band, and then from there, this virus was sent through the country. So debt bondage. Now we have people.
Wow.
Tom Holman talks about this. 550,000 unaccompanied children that we know
about
missing.
Right.
That we know about missing from the Biden-Harris administration. He's only located in a year 62,000.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Jason, you're good to stay with us. We're going to go to commercial in like about 10 seconds, and we're going to about 3 minutes, and then please, I'm so enamored. I don't want you to go yet. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for what you're doing. God bless you. We'll see you in 3 minutes back after the commercial. We'll be right back.
Noticed your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep, and you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won. It's not about what party. It's about the fact that they don't care about your righs.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about, the Fred Rubino Podcast. I'm James Justice. We got Stephen Ruth over here. What are we doing, Steve? Fighting!
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse.
Welcome to Liberty's Cage, the podcast tearing down the walls of America's broken justice system.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. Podcast. Be free, stay free.
About the
We're back. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have Jason Jones still with us from live from the border in Mission, Texas. Jason, thank you so much for being with us. I know it's been a long day for you, but the world needs to hear what you're seeing, because I don't think people understand the magnitude of what really goes on down at the border. I think people go on with their lives. It doesn't directly affect them. And this needs to be spoken about. So thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Or they have the
Thanks
thought
for having
process.
me, guys. It's great to be with you.
They have the thought process that, you know, they're coming in because they have nowhere to go. This is their last place to go.
No,
and
this is
they
an
have no
orchestrated
idea
attempt.
what's really going on. You know, they're coming here for freedom, for the American dream, but they don't realize that these people are being bought and sold over and over and over and over again.
Right.
Yes.
Modern day slavery.
Yeah.
It is.
Actually.
So thank God the border's better now. But like you said, there's a whole aftermath now. Many of them already here in the country, and we're seeing the after effects of that. So maybe, I think you said, are you able to share what's coming up next for you? I know there's some more missions. Is that what's on the...
We've been really busy. I'll tell you guys, one thing that's really important to talk about with the families that are out there that are watching who lost someone they love. You know, I promised everyone that we would get two things accomplished. First, we get the cartels designated as foreign terrorist organizations, and thanks to President Trump, we got that done.
Amen.
That is fantastic news. The second part of this is that someday the world's best of the best were coming for the bastards who hurt so many family members.
Oh, thank God.
That is happening now as well. Throughout 25, I am the only journalist in the world to embed with the Mexican Defense Forces and the Mexican Navy. I've been down there now 4 times in 2025. When everyone else started to go domestic, I knew the real win against these cartels was going to be south. And so I started working with the Mexican government under President Sheinbaum to be able to embed and see it. As I talk to you right now, they have lowered homicides in Mexico by 40%.
Wow.
40%.
Yeah.
That's 37 people a day who aren't being chopped up and killed in Mexico. Now, for those of you watching, why does that matter? Because what happens in Mexico directly impacts us, because our border has been so open and porous. And to moms and dads, our overdoses are down, thanks to this, 24.5%. Now, we've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But that is still tremendous.
Tremendous.
So that change I just can't stress to you that what we needed were new authorities. And we now have it thanks to President Trump, and it's working. Now in Mexico, as somebody that's been down in Culiacan, I've seen the labs. Here's what they've been doing. Phase 1, they took down 1,887 labs as of the latest data.
Wow.
They have arrested over 40,000 people. And they have really been attacking the logistics. If you look at what the Mexican Navy has done, and I actually went out on the Pacific Ocean in Warship Pola in December, in the beginning of December, they've stopped 67 vessels, up to 51 tons of cocaine
Wow.
in the
Oh my
Pacific
God.
Ocean coming up from South America. So, look, I don't want to keep on, but I'm trying to express to you that great work has been done. We've got a long way to go. But in what we call phase 1, they also stopped 800 tons of chemical precursors, just the Navy. And what I really have learned that hasn't been communicated is the breadth and scope of these chemicals that Mexico is under, coming from China and all over the world, many other countries. And that impact on us, because we're changing one of the things that really stunned me was learning that they're looking for 71 chemicals that come from China. You know, most of us probably think, 10 or 20. But these chemists are changing the analogs so quickly. One of the main drugs they're making now is 2C. That's MDMA, that's ketamine, and that's either coke or meth, depending on how they mix it. But this is the poison. So why I stressed for so long that we got to go after these cartels and eliminate that. But it is good for families to know, because you're not hearing this on national TV.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Right? Good work is being done. Now, what is the missing gap? Look, this is Mexico, right? There's been a lot of problems down there for a very long time, and as somebody that's risking everything by embedding with them and going to the most violent areas, I mean, I've been to Culiacan. I've seen a lab that produced 200 kilos of meth per day. I mean, these mega labs are tremendous. You could smell it at 3,500 feet coming in a Black Hawk. But what I'm trying to articulate is that great work has been done, and the truth is the Trump administration needs to do a much better job of illuminating this.
Yeah.
Because they deserve more. You know, they've done great work. What it's missing, though, to the families and to all of your audience is now going after the network. And that latest the headbang, if you will, between Scheinbaum and President Trump just happened about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
They've now admitted they have a new platform, and they're going after them, and I'm already seeing the arrests begin to happen. So I'm very hopeful that in the coming month, we're going to see either Mencho, Ivan Guzman, or Chapo Isidro, the major headhunters who are responsible for so much death in the United States and in Mexico, pay the price for what they've done.
God, we pray that.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I have a question for you. How has, you've been doing this for many years now, how does this affect you and all of the Border Patrol agents? You know, these guys that are in it every day, how is it affecting them? How is their, you know, their
morale, mentality?
Yeah, their morale, their mentality, their emotional, it's got to cause you guys PTSD. I mean, how do you deal with that?
Well, if you look at the data on suicides from U.S. Border Patrol under the Biden-Harris administration, it was the worst ever. You know, I think they had, at the height, it was like 17 in 1 year who had committed suicide. And many of it had to do with these children. Listen, the children being sexually assaulted over there, and the list of that goes on. A lot of these guys, you know, they were around it all day, every day. I was talking to one of them today who pulled up, and it was really nice to listen to him. I mean, they are now they're able to take a breath of fresh air.
Thank
You know,
God.
when you look at those videos of just hundreds of people crossing, sometimes I would be down here with these men and women, and it would be them and me. And I'm talking 1 or 2 agents with hundreds of people and myself. And they were abandoned by their leadership. They were abandoned by the other federal agencies. They were abandoned by their own government. So it's good to see what has happened. There's a major rebound that has happened. So I'm really proud to say that morale is coming back tremendously. And actually, the one that I was talking to today talked about how he's even getting ready to start volunteering for a lot of the operations across the country to help pick up those criminals and get them out of here.
Yeah, and you see what's happening in Minnesota with how they're treating ICE and how, you know, they're really going after them. It's horrible. It's horrible. And
Isn't it insane, like, to our side, there's such heroes to me?
Yes.
Like the Jason and the Border Patrol and Tom Holman, these are people, and we've been so blessed to have them come through the warehouse. I've learned so much. I'm so grateful to have this job and to be able to connect with people. But it's just, I can't even, I keep you guys in my prayers. It's like, I think to me, you guys are the heroes. It's crazy that you could be the enemy to people in this own country. I don't understand it, and I never will, but it doesn't matter because we're winning, and God is on our side, and this is what he wants us to be doing. And what you're doing to me is so heroic and an act of God, honestly.
No, thank you.
We hope you guys come back here and visit us.
Yes.
And we love that. I do want to let people know, and we can maybe show some of those videos. We have a couple of minutes left. I know we have them up, but I also have a graphic. If you guys can cue up Jason's the QR code and just where people can find him and stay up to date. I know he's got an app and he's got a great website. So boys, if you could just put that up in a little bit at some point before Jason leaves, and it should be the Jason Jones asset. But yeah, and I know that you're going on more trips to keep doing this, and thank you for that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, guys. We leave for Colombia here in a few weeks, and then Nigeria, January 20th through March 5th. You know, what's happening to Christians over there by Boko Haram is absolutely horrendous. The reason Colombia is very important, and I would just ask everyone that's watching right now, how many of you have been told that cocaine has doubled in production in South America?
I didn't know that until tonight.
Wow. Nope, I had no idea.
And that's why we have been under a cocaine bonanza. And as the Mexican cartels began to take pressure, the South American cartels lit up. And that's why you saw President Trump hitting the boats the way he was and sinking those maritime vessels. When I look at what Mexico was doing alone with their Navy, tremendous work. 67 vessels in 13 months, 51 tons of cocaine seized. I realized we were under a bonanza, the likes of which we had never seen, of cocaine coming in. And so the reason to go to Colombia is to illuminate how they're able to double their production in Colombia, Bolivia, and Peru, and the importance of what Ecuador has done. One of the things we've done, that, again, you know, they just have done a horrible job of talking about the great work, but the designation of Clan del Golfo, who is the legacy FARC and the other groups that we were up against in the 80s and 90s, and then also going after and now designating Los Lobos and Los Chineros out of Ecuador. Why is that important? Because it shows you that we're going to start going after them They are responsible out of Ecuador. They're the kind of the new player here in the last decade to move cocaine globally. So what you were told by the fake news all the time is that this is a U.S.-Mexico problem, blah, 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 all the time. The truth is, remember, the Mexican cartels alone are in 65 countries around the world. This has not been a U.S.-Mexico or even hemisphere issue for a long time.
It's a world problem.
And what really hasn't been illuminated is the hemispheric crisis we're in. Look at to our north, Canada. What they allowed were to not require a visa. So you had people from Mexico flying over the United States for very little and setting up shop. That's why we have fentanyl pouring in from the northern border in Canada right now. You see President Trump holding the Canadians accountable. So we've been in a hemispheric crisis. The solution is the terrorism designation and sending the world's best of the best to hunt these savages down.
And thank
fix
God
this
we have
problem,
them.
and we're doing it.
You know, and one thing that struck me, like it stayed with me since you guys were here, you know, and Border 911 was here and we were able to educate our guests. You know, the drugs are horrific and I'm so glad that's being tackled. But when a child is how do they put it? When drugs come in, it's one exchange. Yes, it can harm and kill somebody and it's horrific. But a child can be 5 times a day,
10, 20 times a day.
or more being used, you know, sex trafficked. And it's just, it's so horrendous. And I want the world to know what's really happening. And I'm just so grateful that we're combating it finally. It was so necessary. So with that, we're sad to have you go, but I hope you get some rest tonight. I hope this is your last hit of the night and you get to get some rest, Jason. We love you here at the warehouse so much. When I told Joe you were coming on, he was all ecstatic. And
Good.
You will stay in
Good,
touch.
guys. Yeah, listen, thank you for having me, and I'll just close real quick. I just want the mothers and fathers who lost your loved ones. We promised you we'd get the terrorism designation. We got it thanks to President Trump, and it is making a major difference. Get ready. It's going to get a lot better.
Thank
it's good
you.
to report good news, guys.
God
Thanks for
bless
having
you,
me.
brother.
Great to be
Thank
with
you so much, Jason. Get home safe. We'll be right back.
Worked
Thank
hard
you.
and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA store.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Welcome back to the Patriots podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm a little blown away still by our last guest, Jason Jones. Please visit his website, jasonjones.com. In fact, let's show that really quick again, Jason's promo, just so people can take a quick screenshot of that. And
I was in his app last night looking through the app.
It's good, right?
He's got a lot of good things in there, a lot of videos, a lot of clips,
That's
interviews. He is a mountain of education.
I could have listened to him all night.
I know, me too.
And
Me
not
too.
been
It's
bored.
great.
That was incredible.
Love him.
And also, we're going to bring up some of our Soundview things we want you to see. We have Julia Monet here from Soundview. We're very blessed. That's a pregnancy center here on Long Island. I think the only one, right, that doesn't...
The only one that has medical services.
Medical services,
Yes.
which is incredible. So we love having them here because we honor that so much. So Soundview, if you guys can bring up the Soundview graphics, please. What do we have first? Okay, is that one up on our screen? Thank you. We have there, I don't know which one they're going to bring up first. So you guys can screenshot that or
I
use
think
that.
that's the client website.
That's the client
Yeah.
website, yes. And then, we could play the video. It's about a minute. Do you want to play the video?
Maybe at the end.
We could do that at the end.
Yeah, maybe at the
All right, and we have Giving Tuesday, and we have the Sanctity of Life Month graphic, which they honor, obviously, which is why we're so lucky to have them here with us this month as we honor this whole entire month. So, all right, they're not coming up, so we'll come back to that. So we'll keep up those. Actually, guys, if you want, just keep playing popping up the Soundview graphics, if you don't mind, while Julia Monet tells more about their wonderful organization.
Okay.
Okay. So
ridiculous.
one thing, Soundview screens for 5 different things, and one of them is human trafficking. And we're very proud of that because human trafficking is huge on Long Island.
Yeah, it is.
Sadly.
It is.
It's a very
Specifically Suffolk County.
difficult problem all over Long Island.
It is,
even
but
in
Suffolk County
Nassau.
had the highest
Yes.
numbers. We heard, Angie and I learned a few years ago.
We have very high numbers. So that's why we want to screen for human trafficking, and abortion is complicit in hiding human trafficking.
yes,
It
yes.
hides the so-called evidence, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and the abortion clinics will be complicit with that. They won't refer any woman. They won't, they'll just kind of, oh, yeah, come have your
Push you
abortion.
along.
Right, brush it under the rug and
Yes, so
keep
I'm
going.
very proud of our staff because they're all trained and seasoned in, screening a woman and looking at those identifiers. So Monet, please kind of share with us when you have, a client walks in, what are you looking for? What would be going on with her in every way? I'll let you describe to allude that she might be trafficked.
Sure, great question. First, I want to read the director of our medical services has a great statement that I just want to share.
Thank you, absolutely.
Yeah, and she said human trafficking does not look like a specific person or a situation. It looks like exploited individuals who are vulnerable, okay? It's vulnerable individuals who become exploited. And I think that's really important to recognize. And so as staff, to answer your question, what we're doing is we sort of assume that everybody may have that situation. So we treat every situation with care, and we look for what we would call indicators or red flags. And those things can change with the culture. So they're not always the same. It depends on different things that are going on. So for example, one of the things I might notice when a woman comes in is she lives in a hotel, right? She has an ID that's from another state. Maybe she starts telling me her story and I notice some inconsistencies. So the first thing I do is I don't automatically go, oh, you're being trafficked, right?
Right,
I'm
you gotta build
gathering
trust.
information.
You're observing, right?
I'm gathering information, and then through that screening process, as we look for these different red flags, which may also include, a high number of a history of abortions, because if she's being trafficked, then maybe she has had several abortions in order to continue on, whoever is trafficking her, maybe forcing her, coercing her to do this. And, yes.
How would you know that?
Yeah, great question. So
Yeah.
part of our assessment includes asking the history of their pregnancy history, which
Okay.
includes abortion. Right? So you don't necessarily have to have been trafficked to have a high number of abortions. But if you have had several abortions, plus you start to show me that there are inconsistencies in your story, plus
Multiple
you don't
states,
have,
if you don't have a permanent address and all
right.
that
I'm
kind
going to
of
start
stuff.
to see, like I said, indicators that there's an unsafe situation going on here. That's how it's going to begin. So through that assessment process, after we continue to talk with the women, then we're upfront in a gentle way, and we say, I've seen through this conversation, there are some indicators to me that tell me that it's possible that you may not be in a safe situation. And I'll share what it is that I saw. We don't force anybody to disclose because it's a very difficult position to be in. It's not that simple. But we do make sure that they know that we have resources for them. If they're not willing to admit, let's say, that this is a situation that they're in, we make sure that we educate them on what is safe, what is healthy versus what's not healthy. And then we would connect them with a social worker, or at least inform the social worker, and also resources that they could have. We are very careful to keep in mind that trafficking doesn't look always like people think that it does. So
Right.
people tend to have this idea, they picture a certain type of trafficking, right? But yeah, trafficking comes in all kinds of scenarios, like labor, sex, and then just all kinds of different things that you might not be thinking of. But some things that we have to consider are like blackmail. So you could have somebody who's in their 30s with children, and they work, could be a coworker that is actively being trafficked, and you might not realize it because maybe somebody has taken explicit photos of them and has blackmailed them, and so off hours they're forcing them to have sex with other people in order to prevent these pictures from coming out. These things happen,
Right, yeah.
and that's considered trafficking. And these are the things, I just wanted to bring that to light because these are things that we don't really think about, but you could be going to school with or working with somebody or have somebody in your community who seems normal, like everything's fine, but they have this going on in the background. So looking for these indicators is really important and critical for all of us to be
Thank
aware
God
of.
for you
Wow,
guys
yeah.
having.
So if someone is being, let's say there's a woman right now watching us, what's that national hotline? And if she's on Long Island, what is a local resource that she could reach out to privately if she doesn't want to tell anyone?
So there is the trafficking hotline, and there are other resources. I apologize, I don't have the entire list in front of me, but you do have the trafficking hotline, and you can contact their national, and there are resources where they will help you create a safe plan, because it's not always easy. If you are a woman or a man or in a situation like that, people understand that this is not the kind of thing that you're going to be able sometimes to get out of in an instant. Okay, so there are highly trained professionals who are there to help you create a safe plan so that you can withdraw from this situation safely and lead a healthy lifestyle that you are being treated well in. So they recognize that it's not always this quick process.
If someone has a mental stronghold over you and you feel vulnerable to them, that people think it's not just being beat or tied up. The fear really, it's heartbreaking.
It's true.
Some of the strongest
it's so
people.
true. It's so true.
But I think here in Suffolk County, we have ECLI.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank
as
you.
an agency, and also the national trafficking hotline
Yes.
is like a 1-800
That's the
number.
1-800 number.
So anywhere
I mean, listen,
in
I have
America-
Jason Jones and Tom Holman's phone number, okay? So you call me at the warehouse and I'm going
We'll
to tell
get you
them
where you gotta go.
what's going on,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah. So we have rescued at least one client, I believe, through Soundview.
That's incredible.
And what I love too is we keep all of our hotline and information in the bathroom.
Yes.
So if a woman doesn't want to tell Monet or any of our
that's
other
amazing.
staff, she can go and take a photo, take a card, put it in her
That's
purse
a great
or her
great
phone,
idea. Yeah.
So she can, in the privacy of wherever she can get to,
That's amazing.
Can make a connection.
Yes.
And at least she'll learn from Monet and our staff where she can go. Also, even
Thank
if she
God.
doesn't disclose anything. So we are working very hard every day to set these women free.
That's
and
amazing.
we
That
pray
is-
for our clients, and we really are on the front lines.
That's why we love you guys.
You really are doing
I mean,
God's work.
to have friends now
Yeah.
that can come and speak on the two topics that are so prevalent this month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
people need the
important.
education, and it's so I can't say it enough. These two things are so under discussed.
Right.
So I'm so grateful that you guys are here.
Aw,
We want the audience to
Yes.
hear this for sure.
Yes.
aw, thank you.
You want to do announcements before we do prayer?
Sure thing. Well, can we bring up some of the Soundview graphics now? Do we have
Yes.
them ready?
Yeah.
Thank you. So
Perfect.
I'll go off of what you put up first. I know there's a couple of them. But I do want the audience to see their wonderful graphics that they put out.
I can't wait to come out and come visit the
I
center.
know.
you have
we
to
have
come
to do
for
I
that.
the
really
tour.
am looking forward to that. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys see them as Soundview 1, 2, 3. Well, one we showed already. I have them as 2, 3, and 4.
And what I love about Soundview is we don't charge anything. And we get zero government funding, so.
That's right.
Just put the 2 first, if you want.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
go
it's
just in
all
order.
it's all donor.
That's
It's all
amazing.
donor
Funding.
supported.
Yep.
If you have a business, you can
So, see-
support us that way.
Beautiful.
Face Screen for Human
Yeah.
Trafficking, like we just talked about, which is so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have Giving Tuesday, I think is the next one.
That's our
Up,
Sanctity of Life. So that's all of January, which is amazing. So churches and organizations really highlight the Sanctity of Life month all January. And then Sanctity of Life Sunday was this past Sunday, the
Beautiful.
18th. So pastors all across America were giving, messages on why we as Christians should be pro-life and, life affirming. So it's
that's
very
incredible.
important to know that we're made in God's image, Imago Dei.
Yes.
That's amazing. So I'm going to be very quick because
We're going to go over a couple seconds.
Oh, yeah, they might get mad at me, but it's okay. So this Saturday, you guys asked for it. We're bringing it back to you. Country line dancing is happening here at the America First Warehouse. Please check out our website or the app. Download our new app. The graphic has been at the bottom, too, for our new app. But if you guys can bring up country line dancing so the audience can see that flyer real quick, come have a great time. The instructor's a good friend of mine. She'll teach it for an hour and a half and walk you, dance along with it. It's
going to be a fun
And then
night.
we have DJ Luke after that for an hour and a half, which would be a lot of fun. On February 7th, we have American Ride coming. They are the Toby Keith cover band. We are so excited to have them. It's going to be a great night. We have so many things coming up for you guys in 2026, and I'll get to those during every show. Also, really quick, Joe the Box has been asked to be the MC at the Donald J. Trump Republican Club and Gala in Brooklyn on the 31st. So if you guys can show that real quick and support Jimmy Wagner, the founder, and Joe the Box will be there, of course. And then on March 1st, we have the Queens Village Republican Club Lincoln Dinner, and they asked Joe the Box to be the MC there, too.
That's great.
Last year, he was an honoree. It's obviously very well-deserved. We love you, Joe the Box. We can't wait, and we love you, Queens Village Republican Club. We're going to go to our prayer, and then, fellas, as soon as the prayer is over, if you can show the 1-minute Soundview pregnancy video just to close us out. And we wish you all a great week.
Yeah.
It's 1-year anniversary of Donald Trump, and happy anniversary, I guess, to the pardons of all our J6 friends who
Yes,
went through
yes,
hell.
yes.
Today was, I stood in this building with Ernie and Gary at the end of the night and watched, I could cry now thinking about
Yeah.
it. President Trump, to Sarah Carpenter and Shane Jenkins and all the amazing friends we have that were pardoned. We love you guys and praise God that you're out of those horrific scenarios.
Yes.
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you, President Trump. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the sacred gift of human life, created in your image and precious in your sight. We ask your protection over the vulnerable and your justice against the evil of human trafficking. Bring freedom to the oppressed and healing to the wounded. Bless our viewers with compassion and courage. We lift up Soundview Pregnancy Services, Jason Jones, and all of those brave patriots working at the border. Strengthen them, Lord, protect them, and bless the great work they are doing to defend life and serve others. May your light guide us always and in all ways. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
And as always,
keep your
faith strong, your family close, and your freedom alive. See you next week, guys. Please play that video and close us out with
Good night.
Soundview. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. We love having you here.
Oh, it's so much fun.
God bless you all.
She feels trapped with nowhere to turn. She doesn't have a place to call home. She can't take care of herself, let alone a baby. She's just 16, living under her parents' roof, terrified of their judgment, afraid they might even kick her out. She's in an abusive relationship, walking on eggshells, knowing that if she tells him she's pregnant, his violence could escalate. Every woman's story is different, but at the heart of each one lies the same struggle. Fear of the unknown, fear of not having enough, fear that she won't survive, fear that she'll fail as a parent or won't have anyone to lean on. But fear doesn't have the final say. Love casts out fear and makes room for hope. When you give to our center, you're doing more than donating. You're stepping into her story. You're providing her with the support, services, and encouragement she needs to feel valued, find hope, and choose life.